IFS Guided Meditation, Understanding Our Anxious Parts by Ayan Farvahar. Managers are parts of our personality that manage our daily life. Anxiousness is a signal our managers send to let us know they are concerned about something or their ability to handle everything we face in life. We need to notice our anxious parts, listen to their concerns, and help them relax. Hi, this is Ayan Farvahar. I'm glad you're here. If it's your first time here, this channel is about self-realization and honoring our life purpose and meaning. If you're interested in these topics, please subscribe to stay connected. Today, I would like you to join me for another IFS self-leadership meditation focused on understanding our anxious parts. Anxiousness is usually referred to as a state of uneasiness, nervousness, or concern about some uncertain or unknown events. When disregarded, anxiousness could transform to anxiety or distress. However, in this meditation, we don't view anxiousness as a pathological symptom, and rather a form of communication or a call from a part of our personality that needs our attention. The purpose of this meditation is to answer that call, listen to our anxious part, and help it relax. If it's your first exposure to IFS, you can still try this meditation as an experiential inner connection. This could also be an opportunity for you to become more familiar with IFS and experience its value in getting to know the inner workings of your mind. To make the most out of this meditation, I provide two short introductions. One is a quick intro to IFS, introducing different parts of our personality. The second introduction provides a perspective on how interactions between these parts can lead to anxiousness. If you're familiar with IFS, you may still find these introductions useful, but if you wish, you can skip them and jump directly to start of meditation using the timestamp link I have provided in the description below. Please note that the views presented here are based on my personal experience and understanding of the IFS model and are not meant to reflect an academic perspective. For the official background and various applications of the model, please see the description below for a link to IFS Institute website. IFS, a paradigm for understanding the inner workings of our mind. Internal Family Systems, or IFS, is an evidence-based psycho-spiritual model pioneered by Dr. Richard C. Schwartz. In simple terms, IFS model describes how our mind operates. We usually experience or express ourselves through our feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. In IFS, these are expressions of our distinct subpersonalities, parts of our personality, or simply our parts. Our personality consists of different parts who play different roles in our life. For example, managers are parts that run our day-to-day life. They like to maintain stability, predictability, and control in our life. Firefighters are parts of our personality that are impulsive and take over when we get overwhelmed by negative feelings or thoughts. For example, my firefighter parts can make me overeat or binge on movies to unplug from a feeling of sadness or anger or a worrying thought that could otherwise overwhelm me. Inner critics are parts of our personality that have judgmental views about certain aspects of our being. We notice them as inner critical voices, judging our look, our decisions, or our way of doing things. And exiles are parts of our personality that had traumatic or painful experiences in the past and are therefore weak and vulnerable. For example, a part of me may still feel uneasy or insecure if I were constantly watched or criticized by adults when growing up. Because exiles have emotional burdens, pain, or vulnerability, they're suppressed or exiled by our manager or firefighter parts, so we don't get overwhelmed by their emotions and can function in life. Our parts collectively form our personality, but we also have access to a source of wisdom within us, called Self with a capital S. You can think of Self as your purest sense of being, away from aspects of your personality that could otherwise define who you are. You can also view Self as your inner wisdom, your open heart, your higher mind, or the clairvoyance wisdom of your soul. Connection to Self happens naturally when we separate ourselves from our personality parts and their feelings, thoughts, and beliefs. IFS helps us do that naturally. When you embody Self and its clairvoyance wisdom, you relate to all aspects of your personality with compassion and curiosity and can help them evolve and transform. If you're interested to learn more about IFS, please check the description below for a link to IFS Institute website, or check out my IFS Basic Concepts presentation linked here. Understanding how anxiousness emerges within us. Our managers work hard to keep our life in order and predictable, but they can get overwhelmed and lose confidence if we happen to have many setbacks in life or overly active inner critics judging them all the time. Anxiousness is an emotional signal from our managers letting us know they're burnt out and worried about losing control. In fact, we can think of feeling of anxiousness as a SOS signal from our managers wanting our attention and support. If we ignore this signal, our already tired managers become helpless and get pushed aside by our firefighters who emerge to take over. Unfortunately, our firefighters' impulsive or mind-numbing actions could lead to more shame, further activating our inner critics. If this continues, anxiousness can transform to anxiety or even depression, as our already tired managers lose confidence and are pushed aside, leaving no one in charge of running our life. Noticing and listening to our anxious parts is important, not only to avoid anxiety, but also to find out what makes our managers burned out or concerned. If one of our inner critics is bashing how our managers handle things, we may need to help that inner critic relax too, because when our inner critics are relaxed, our managers are more focused and can regain or even build higher confidence. If you have noticed an anxious part in you, this meditation can help you connect to and become curious about it. In many cases, anxious parts are worried about the future and highly hypothetical worst-case scenarios that may never happen. So just listening to and acknowledging your anxious parts can help them relax and open up to tell you what they're worried about and what you can do to help them. Keep in mind that meditations like this may not always work perfectly the first time, so I would suggest noticing the process here and repeating it later in your own unique way and words. Please use discretion to check if you feel comfortable connecting directly to your anxious part through this meditation. If not, consider some inner works or try this meditation when guided by an IFS practitioner. Preparation for meditation. Sit or lay down somewhere you feel most comfortable and cozy. Take a few deep breaths to feel the air entering your lungs, filling your body with its nourishing oxygen. If it helps, close your eyes or soften your gaze to further descend to a state of calmness and presence inside you and away from the world outside. As you're focusing inside, notice what feelings or thoughts are currently present in your mind. Let them know you noticed them, but for now, ask them to separate from you to give you some space so you can be fully present for this meditation. You can always get back to them later, but now it is your personal time, a time for you to be fully present here and now. As you are creating this space inside you, gather some light and positive energy on top of your head and direct it down to the core of your body to start your meditation shortly. Turn your attention and imagination inside and check if you notice any anxiousness in you, or if you felt anxious in recent period, check if you can find that feeling within you again. If you notice other feelings or thoughts present in you, acknowledge them, but kindly ask them to step back to give you more space. Let them know you notice them and can come back to them later if needed. Now focus on the anxious part of you and check if you can find it in or around your body as a sensation, an image, a color, or a memory, or how it wants you to notice it. If you can feel or visualize this anxious part in or around you, check what else you notice about it and how it presents itself to you. If you cannot sense or visualize your anxious part, just focus on it and try to connect with it internally without externalizing or visualizing it. Now check to see how you feel toward your anxious part and whether you're open and curious about getting to know it or finding out why it is anxious. If you don't feel particularly open toward your anxious part yet, check if there is another part in you who does not like you connecting to the anxious part. If so, acknowledge this new part and ask it to step back so your heart can be open toward the anxious part. If any other part is still present, ask them to step back. If it helps, let them know you're just curious about the anxious part and will not be overwhelmed by it. Repeat this process until your heart is open and you feel connected to and curious about your anxious part. Now, focus on your anxious part and let it know you notice it and are curious about it. Check if your anxious part knows who you are. If not, update it. Let it know how old you are, what you do now, and what you have accomplished in life. If you believe there must be a good reason your anxious part is anxious, let it know that and ask it to tell you why it feels anxious. You can also ask what it is afraid could happen to you if it stopped being anxious. Wait for its answer and repeat these questions in your own words if needed, until you know what your anxious part is actually concerned about. If the part is worried about something that could happen in the future, check what that is and how likely it is to happen. If highly unlikely, ask your anxious part if it realizes that. If your anxious part is concerned about something that could actually happen, let it know it is not alone and you're here with it to work through it and make things right. Ask the anxious part if it can tell you when it first experienced anxiousness and how old were you at that time. There is a chance your anxious part has seen you in difficult periods in the past when you were younger or overwhelmed with what was going on around you and could not be at your best or in full control of everything in your life. If you notice your anxious part is worried about what happened in the past, reminds it of how far you have come in life since then, and the fact that you're now mature and experienced enough to handle things much better than before. Check if this comforts your anxious part. If it helps, let it know it can relax now because you're here to stay with it and are not going anywhere. Also, thank it for its awareness and caring concerns for your well-being, helping you being forward-looking and ready for whatever the future brings. Let your anxious part know you're open to come back and spend more time with it, even to go back to its past to release any emotional burdens from back then. If your anxious part feels more relaxed, ask it if it wishes to invite in positive attributes instead of anxiousness, attributes that could help it do what it has been doing for you without being anxious. For example, self-awareness, watchfulness, intuition, or whatever else it wishes to embody. Thank your anxious part and any other parts that you have noticed in this meditation. If you feel comfortable, commit to be more aware of their presence inside you. Maybe you can connect with them later to know more about them and what they do for you. Thank all of them. Say your goodbyes, and when ready, come back to here and now. End of meditation. Reflections. Take a deep breath, and when comfortable, open your eyes or break your gaze. But before coming back to the outside world, make a mental note of any insights you might have received during this meditation. The moments like these can be an opportunity to raise your self-awareness about your parts and your inseparable connection to them. Consider writing a few lines as journal entry to capture what parts you have noticed and how you felt toward them. You can refer to these notes later when you're ready to do inner works using IFS practice. Also, consider repeating this meditation, but this time in your own choice of words. Improvising your meditations in your own words helps you enhance your experience of them. If you have found this meditation useful, please like and share it with your like-minded friends. Also, please subscribe to my channel and share your thoughts and comments. Your support is the foundation of this channel and encourages me to create more content in the future. For more information about myself and what I do, please find my bio link in the description below. Also, if you have requests for future topics or meditations, please share it as a comment or contact me through my bio link below. Blessings.